fifth session of the Pan-African Parliament is officially underway. One of the MPs in attendance is Tapiwa Mashakada, Deputy Secretary General of the MDC Alliance, which is one of Zimbabwe's opposition parties. Let's take you live there to our anchor, Hugo Ribatika, covering the opening of the Pan-African Parliament. First, Hugo, tell us what's been happening so far.
Tapiwa, good afternoon. Good to speak to you. Well, eventually things got underway, and a lot of that delay were attributable to the fact that we had load shedding, so they had to wait a few hours for things to commence. The session started off with a number of new parliamentarians swearing their allegiance to the AU. I think, if I counted correctly, a little more than 3 dozen pledging their allegiance to the African Union. What I also can tell you is that the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki, then gave the opening address. And I'm hoping that Tapiwa Mashakada, who's a legislator from Zimbabwe, can give us his comments on that address and certainly a number of other issues that are bedeviling our neighbour. Mr. Mashakada, thanks for speaking to us. Now, that address by Musa Faki, anything come out of there that you'd like to comment on?
The chairperson of the AU, Musa Faki Muhammad, touched on a wide range of issues that affect the African continent, among which is the impact of the COVID pandemic, the climate change and the conflicts that are happening in Africa. He also touched on the issue of food security in the wake of the war in Ukraine, and said that the AU was worried about the food crisis that is looming as a result of the conflict in Ukraine. He also touched on the AU Parliament, which is this Pan-African Parliament, and lamented the disturbances that occurred last year when the elections could not happen. This year he hoped that we would conduct ourselves in a more mature manner and elect the Bureau of the Pan-African Parliament, elect the President of the Pan-African Parliament according to the rules of rotation, which provides that the Southern Caucus and the Northern Caucus are now eligible to produce a president for the Pan-African Parliament. So it was a wide-ranging speech.
So are you confident that the election tomorrow will meet that suggestion, that obviously no conflict come tomorrow?
We have no choice, because the whole of Africa, the peoples of Africa are watching us, and they expect us to do the right thing to improve the governance of the Pan-African Parliament by conducting elections in accordance with the rotation principle.
Now, allow me to touch a little bit on what's happening in Zimbabwe, or certainly what's happening in South Africa, regarding the Zimbabwe exemption permits, which are due to expire on the last day of 2022. Now, from what we understand, it has been very difficult to convert those permits into regular or standard permits. What is your take on that and expectation? Is Zimbabwe ready to take on 180,000 families come end of the year?
In my view, those exemption permits will have to be regularized. There's no way such a huge amount of labor can just be thrown into the street. The papers must be regularized. We need regular, safe and orderly migration. So these people will need to have regular permits. And of course, if those permits are not forthcoming, then the exemption certificates have to be extended. There's no way those people can be dumped. They've got a legitimate expectation to remain in South Africa and be employed and get gainful employment. So if things come to the crunch, the two governments, the Department of Home Affairs of South Africa and the Ministry of Home Affairs of Zimbabwe and their Foreign Affairs counterparts have to sit down and work out modalities for the extension of those exemption permits.
Well, we're in July, so 5 months away from the end of year. As a legislator, are these conversations that you are having in Zimbabwe, and are you aware of any communications between the two governments regarding this issue?
I'm aware that, yes, the two countries are seized with the matter, and the Departments of Home Affairs of the two countries are working on this issue flat out so that Zimbabweans remain and stay in South Africa working for their families.
Mr. Mashakada, we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, Temekile, that was Tapiwa Mashakada, a legislator from Zimbabwe and also a parliamentarian here at the Pan-African Parliament. And as you heard him, they are confident that come tomorrow the election should go smoothly because some form of agreement has been reached in as far as rotation is concerned, which was a stickler a year ago. But he's also spoken about the 178,000 Zimbabweans that are currently in South Africa on the Zimbabwe exemption permits, and he says that they cannot be dumped and that the two governments are currently in conversation. Temekile.
Hugo, thank you very much for that update from the Pan-African Parliament.